Monster Hunter Wilds didn't just launch, it absolutely detonated. 8 million copies in 3 days. That's not a game, that's a cultural event. And here's the thing, Capcom finally figured out how to make Monster Hunter accessible without dumbing it down. The seamless open world, gorgeous. The monster AI that actually feels alive, terrifying in the best way. You're not just fighting creatures anymore, you're surviving ecosystems where monsters hunt each other and you're just trying not to become collateral damage. But what really gets me is the value here. We're talking 100 to 200 hours of content before you even touch the free updates Capcom keeps dropping. No battle passes, no paid expansions fragmenting the community. Just pure meaty gameplay where you're constantly chasing that next armor set, that next weapon upgrade, that one monster you've been too scared to fight. And the multiplayer? Butter smooth. Getting a squad together to take down an Elder Dragon never gets old. There's this incredible loop where you start feeling like a god, then the game throws something at you that reminds you that you're very much still mortal. If you've never tried Monster Hunter, this is the one. And if you're a veteran, you already know. This is the best the series has ever been. Alright, confession time. I was not expecting this game to hit as hard as it did. Claire Obscure came out of nowhere and basically said, hey, remember when turn-based RPGs felt magical? And then it delivered on that promise in ways I genuinely didn't think were possible anymore. The setting alone is worth the price of admission. Imagine Belle Epoque France. Think early 1900s, all Art Nouveau elegance and romantic architecture, but twisted into this dark fantasy nightmare. It's visually unlike anything else on PS5, and every frame looks like concept art that accidentally became playable. Now, let's talk about that cast. Andy Serkis and Ben Starr aren't just lending their voices here, they're giving genuine, emotional performances that elevate the whole experience. These aren't characters you forget when you turn off the console. They stick with you. The combat takes classic turn-based system and injects them with real-time elements that keep you engaged, instead of just waiting for your turn. It's strategic, but never slow. Thoughtful, but never boring. And here's the kicker. It's only $50. In an era where games launch at $70 and still nickel and dime you with DLC, Claire Obscure shows up with a complete, polished, emotionally devastating experience for $20 less. 12 Game Award nominations don't lie, folks. This one's special. Remember It Takes Two? That game that won Game of the Year and reminded everyone that co-op games could actually be incredible? Well, Hazelight Studios looked at that success and said, cool, let's do it again, but somehow even better. Split Fiction is genuinely the most fun I've had playing with another person. Every single level, and I mean every single one, introduces completely new mechanics. You're not just running through samey environments with a friend. One minute you're in a sci-fi shooter, the next you're solving puzzles in a fantasy realm, and somehow it all connects into this wild meta-narrative about two writers whose stories are merging together. The creativity on display here is almost exhausting in the best way. You finish one section thinking, okay, they can't top that, and then the next level proves you completely wrong. It's like the developers had 100 game ideas and instead of picking one, they just put them all in. And let's talk about Friends Pass, because this is huge. Only one person needs to buy the game. Your co-op partner plays for free. That's 2 people. Full game, 1 purchase. In 2025. I genuinely don't know how Hazelight keeps getting away with being this consumer-friendly, but I hope they never stop. If you have anyone in your life, partner, friend, sibling, random person you met online, grab this immediately. It's mandatory gaming. Listen, I know Death Stranding is divisive. I know. Half of you just rolled your eyes. But hear me out, because Death Stranding 2 takes everything Kojima learned from the first game and cranks it to 11. First off, this might genuinely be the best looking game on PS5, and I don't say that lightly. The environments, spanning from Mexico to Australia, are so photorealistic that there were moments I forgot I was playing a video game. The facial animations, the lighting, the sheer attention to detail in every frame. Kojima Productions is showing off, and honestly, they've earned it. But the real magic is the story. Without spoiling anything, this 50+ hour journey goes places I never expected. It's weird. Obviously, it's Kojima, but it's also deeply human in ways that sneak up on you. One moment you're confused about what's happening, and the next you're genuinely emotional about characters you didn't even realize you cared about. The gameplay loop that people criticized in the first game, refined, tight. There's more action, more variety, but it still maintains that meditative quality of traversing harsh landscapes and connecting a broken world. This is a PS5 exclusive, by the way. No PC version at launch, no Xbox. If you own a PS5, this is one of those experiences that justifies the hardware. It's not for everyone, but for those it clicks with, it's unforgettable. Okay, history nerds, this one's for us. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is basically a time machine disguised as a video game, and I am absolutely here for it. We're talking 15th century Bohemia, meticulously recreated with an obsessive attention to historical accuracy. The sword fighting isn't flashy anime nonsense. It's heavy, deliberate, and based on actual medieval combat manuscripts. When you win a fight, you feel it. When you lose, you definitely feel that too. But here's the thing that blows my mind. This game has 2.2 million words of dialogue. That's not a typo. The script is literally larger than the entire Harry Potter series combined. Every character feels like they have a life beyond your interactions with them. The world doesn't revolve around you, and somehow that makes everything more immersive. You're playing as Henry, a blacksmith's son caught up in political turmoil and war. It's grounded, it's gritty, and it treats you like an adult. No chosen one prophecy, no magical destiny, just a guy trying to survive and maybe get some revenge along the way. Expect to sink 100 to 150 hours into this. And that's not padding. That's genuine content, genuine stories, genuine medieval life simulation. Want to get drunk with peasants? You can do that. Want to learn to read because your character is illiterate? That's a whole questline. If you've ever wanted to actually live in the Middle Ages without the plague and terrible hygiene, this is as close as you're gonna get. I'm just gonna say it. Astrobot is the happiest game I've ever played. Like, I didn't even know games could be this joyful. It's basically Sony looking at everything PlayStation has ever done and throwing a giant celebration, and somehow you're invited. This little robot started as a tech demo, right? A cute distraction to show off the DualSense controller. And now, Game of the Year 2024. That's the most beautiful underdog story in gaming. 90 levels across 60 planets, and not a single one feels like filler. Every world has its own gimmick, its own visual style, its own reason to exist. One level you're bouncing through a candy wonderland, the next you're piloting a tiny mech suit, and it just keeps surprising you in ways that make you smile like an idiot. The PlayStation fan service is incredible, by the way. You're rescuing bots dressed as iconic characters from Sony's entire history. Kratos, Nathan Drake, Aloy, even deep cuts that only real ones will recognize. It's nostalgia weaponized in the best possible way. And the DualSense implementation? This is what the controller was made for. You feel everything. The ice cracking under your feet, the tension of a bowstring, the patter of rain. It all comes through your hands. Playing Astrobot actually made me appreciate the PS5 hardware more than any other game. If you have a PS5 and you haven't played this, what are you even doing? It's pure distilled joy in video game form. Your inner child is gonna thank you. So you've played God of War 2018, right? That emotional gut punch of a game that turned Kratos from an angry meme into an actual character? Cool. Now imagine that, but bigger, bolder, and somehow even more emotionally devastating. Ragnarok is the conclusion to the Norse saga, and Sony did not hold back. This is their fastest-selling first-party game ever, and about 30 minutes in, you understand why. The stakes are apocalyptic. Literally, it's Ragnarok. But the story stays grounded in the relationship between Kratos and Atreus, a father trying to protect his son, a son trying to find his own path. It sounds simple, but the execution is masterful. Combat-wise, everything from 2018 returns, but refined. The Leviathan axe still feels incredible. The Blades of Chaos still make you feel unstoppable. And there are, let's just say, some new additions that I won't spoil, but they made me audibly gasp. You're looking at 40 to 60 hours for the main story. But here's the thing, they added a completely free roguelite DLC called Valhalla that basically gives you unlimited replay value, free, after you've already gotten a complete experience. Sony just gave it away. The boss fights are some of the best in gaming history. The quiet character moments hit just as hard as the action. And that ending? I'm not gonna lie, I needed a minute afterward. This isn't just a great PS5 game. This is one of the best games ever made, period. Okay, I've played a lot of superhero games. A lot. And I'm telling you right now, nothing comes close to this. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 isn't just the best Spider-Man game ever made, it's the best superhero game ever made, and I will die on that hill. The big hook here is playing as both Peter and Miles, and you can switch between them almost instantly. No loading screens, no transitions. Just boom, you're the other Spider-Man, and they feel completely different. Peter's got the symbiote suit with these brutal, aggressive attacks. Miles has his bioelectric powers with that smooth, stylish flow. Two completely different playstyles that are both equally satisfying. Now let's talk villains, because holy crap. Venom is here, and he's genuinely terrifying. Not campy, not cartoonish. Actually scary. Kraven the Hunter is hunting you through New York like your prey. Lizards tearing through the city. The villain roster is stacked, and they all get moments to shine. The story deals with some surprisingly heavy themes too. Identity, responsibility. What happens when power corrupts someone you love? It's got that emotional weight that the first game had, but amplified. There were moments that genuinely caught me off guard. And swinging through New York, still the best traversal in any open-world game. They somehow made it even better, faster, more fluid. You'll spend hours just vibing through Manhattan because it feels that good. PS5 exclusive, system seller. Absolute must.